dispossessed and discriminated against, and they have nowhere to go and no hopes.
Well, there's always been in the media and with a lot of the alternative people kind of this almost like softness toward France because it's more evolved, or like they used
Well,
it against John
they are more
Kerry
evolved.
on some levels, but like in 2004 they
They
used it
cover
against
all of
John
their
Kerry,
citizens
and
for health.
So does
you know,
most of Europe does.
I know, but not
yeah,
us.
Germany really does. Germany has one of the
So they're
best
more
medical
evolved than
systems,
us,
you know.
you know?
And Michael
Well,
Moore's movie Sicko
They
was
have
one
a
of the
better,
best movies.
a better
He went it
social
all over.
safety
And,
net too.
yeah.
You know,
Yes.
people are not left to die in the streets unless they're Muslim.
They even give you money to get home from the hospital. Like
Yeah,
they'll
I
give you
mean,
money for a cab.
They take care of their citizens, but unfortunately, they discriminate against Muslims to the point where they don't really
No.
consider them citizens,
No.
even though officially they are.
That is my problem with all
Well,
of
of course,
this.
it's horrible.
I don't because it happened to people in Northern Ireland, and that's where my dad was from, and so he came here, not really wanting to be here. So like I grew up as a kid listening to him talk about the news and talk about how the country's run, talk about a lot of things that he hated about being here. So I didn't grow up with a hey, let's go to war.
USA.
No way.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
my dad even got out of being enlisted in the British Army. He was so against the war. But Ireland itself was against the war also.
Yeah.
Any war. It doesn't even have an army.
You know, Ireland's
And-
always been squozen in there by England and Wales and everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like I feel that as long as I'm still alive, I want to be able to point out that Palestine and Northern Ireland are the same things are happening in both places, except that in Belfast there's just a huge wall,
Mm-hmm.
a long wall, not a short wall like in Gaza.
I know they have a really long wall in Israel now. They've been building new walls for years now.
Okay,
They've got a lot of walls now.
so
A
the
lot of
Brits have
walls.
shown them
long,
how to do that.
long walls. Well, and kind of like the Berlin Wall too. You know, they're inspired by that. And how about our wall on the border of Mexico?
That
It's
is
like that.
And like
Who-
Ron Paul said, it's keeping people in too from leaving.
That's what the Berlin Wall was really for. Was to
Right,
keep
right,
people
right,
in,
right,
not to keep
right.
people out.
Right.
really.
Yeah, because people in East Berlin were living in an oppressive totalitarian state. They would have loved to escape to West Berlin
right.
and be living in the free world. The Western world, compared to the Soviet Union,
Yeah.
was free. And they would have loved to go, but that's what the wall stopped them from doing.
Right. They wanted to be in Kennedy's part of Germany, not Khrushchev's.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I just feel that if nothing's done, I mean, already, France is saying that nobody can demonstrate for Palestine.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's something really, really wrong with that.
Oh yeah. Well,
Oh, yeah.
pressing of freedom and freedom
Right.
of speech. Yeah.
Freedom
I
of
mean,
speech.
wow. And
Well, the French don't have freedom of speech written into their constitution like we do.
no.
But that takes
I mean,
me to
they should.
Selma.
Yeah. How was Selma, by the way? Because a lot of the black newspapers say it's okay a little bit for bringing about awareness, but the version of Martin Luther King was pretty sanitized. But I haven't seen the movie yet, so I was curious. Because there's like a picture here in the black newspaper of Martin Luther King and how he actually got roughed up a lot. And they don't show, starting in the mid-'50s when actually it was basically the singer, what's his name, who alerted Kennedy when Kennedy was a senator to go down and get him off the chain gang. the Caribbean singer, I forget his
Oh,
name.
yeah.
Belafonte?
Harry
Yeah.
Belafonte
Harry Belafonte, yeah.
made John Kennedy aware when he was a senator, because Kennedy was going to run for president, and civil rights was brewing, and he asked Belafonte, because he had that privilege of knowing him, what's the best thing I could do for the blacks or to help this? And he goes, first thing you got to do is go down and get Martin Luther King off the chain gang. I learned all this from Janice the psychic, actually, and I did research myself, and then basically, yeah, that he got hip to it from Martin Luther King and stuff. So him and Bobby, but yeah, I mean, but how was the movie?
Well, let's see. Raising awareness. Raising awareness to what is my, is like what I want to know. Because I felt that even though it was made by, and I always look to see who's making these films.
Right, that's smart.
And even though this one's made by Pathe, Pathe, I think that they make the suggestion that Martin Luther King had affairs on his wife, which I thought was just a way of appealing to the puritanical American who would say, "Oh, he had affairs on his wife," or even feminists.
I think it's pretty well established that he did.
So who gives a shit? I mean, yes, but the government, they do talk about how the government was trying to bring that up to discredit
to tell that
him.
Story so that otherwise to understand what the FBI was trying to do there.
True.
They're blackmailing.
The whole thing of entrapment.
They're trying to blackmail him.
Yeah.
So, what are they blackmailing him with? Well, that's what it was with.
Right.
Yes, that's true. But I feel that yes, I agree. They don't show anything of what he endured up to the point of Selma.
Right.
Nothing.
That was the complaints in the paper here. The culture currents, it's called. Actually,
Do you get this in the mail or?
no, I pick it up at the local pizza joint when I go in twice a month to eat, and they had stuff about Leonard Peltier in here, his latest, and also Mumia, and I was interested in that, and then a bunch of other stuff, so I grabbed it.
Good.
But their take on Selma was interesting. They're a little bit ramped up right now because of all the stuff that's happened, and the cops not getting indicted for this, except what you mentioned in Albuquerque, at least, as a start. But yeah, it's quite something. This is the first time I've ever been alive where I remember, again, in the mainstream media, cops actually getting questioned now, or like you, Jennifer, were saying, we're getting questioned, but now the next media story has come to kind of like move that over or whatever.
New York City cops are still in the news about, they did their whole slowdown.
Right.
Actually, there's Democracy Now! Is such a great source.
Right.
And they were talking about it. About how actually, there's division in the NYPD.
Right.
Like here, even in this, they're acting as if it's the NYPD's open
rebellion against Mayor de Blasio. It's not that
black and
white
way.
or blue and white.
There are a lot of cops
right.
who
Can I see this?
are with de Blasio, and pointed out that it's not, in fact, the head of the Police Benevolent Association Union is, for the first time in 20 years, has a slate of opponents running against him for his next re-election, even though he's been unopposed for 20 years. Now he's being opposed. And 20 years ago, the NYPD was mostly white, and that's no longer true. Now it's mostly minorities.
Right.
So it's not that way where it's like the NYPD is some, block like that. No, there's division in the NYPD.
Hence, like the way they package stuff in certain medias, like how they're packaging the us against them, which isn't true, And, but yeah, I mean.
Yeah, that goes back to Plato, the me and the not me. Well, in Hinduism, there's us, and even though some people might disagree with me, but I don't. And what you were talking about in offshoots of Buddhism and Hinduism and animism and Druid thought. So yeah, I mean, that's the what Amma calls it is discrimination, which some people could take and say, oh, that sounds like racial discrimination. Wait a minute, I don't understand. But Amma calls it discrimination, and what I think she means by that, even though maybe the translation isn't very good, is making a decision about what you're going to do prior to doing it. What you're saying is basically being conscious before the act.
Yeah.
Now, Hannah Arendt wrote the book back in the 80s called God, I can't remember. Evil. So it's something about evil.
The banality of evil.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how she talks about how evil is the absence of thought. That there is no consciousness within evil. It's like a kind of referring to the Nazis in a way, but also beyond that. I felt at the time. You read it?
No, I didn't read it. But I'm familiar with.
That's an interesting take to say the absence of thought, and being that it's like almost like just an emotional surge, but different from like the animal kingdom, because the animals really have no malice. They're kind of instinctual and to survive, and I just want to add again, the animals aren't the ones screwing up the planet.
That's right.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. They're doing what they're supposed to do, but yeah, it's just crazy. Like when you think that the oceans are almost all dead,
Yep.
and people don't want to like really talk about that. They still talk about eating food out of the ocean, just like business as usual, but great mounds of plastic and oil spills and all kinds of stuff. In fact, Charisma the other day was down at the ocean, and she saw this weird dye coming out of the boats, and it was flooding, and there was all these bubbles, and she did some research, and they basically throw laundry detergent. Like, I mean, how many ships like were at sea for a long time that they have to do and they'll just throw the laundry detergent water into the ocean, and that's small potatoes, and that we're not even talking the major corporations.
They also dump all their sewage.
Sewage, yeah. But
I think if more were done about sea exploration, and possibly that might be the reason why. Because remember Jacques Cousteau would go out there.
I love that show. That was a good show.
And
In Search of and the Jacques Cousteau, and those were great shows.
And because that's what, there's more sea than there is land.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like the reason I'm going a little bit longer is because I forgot to press record for the show. I do that a lot.
Oh no.
I know. So we didn't get Joanna. We didn't get the other caller. I need someone, like when we were at Access, Dina would go,
yeah, right.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I always forget that I'm at the controls, and I'm the one deciding what that it's got to record. So that's why.
But another thing about the oceans and the water is the sonar experiments that the Navy is doing, and how it's affecting a lot of
it's horrendous.
And also before those tsunamis happened in 2004, it was documented that the U.S. and the North Koreans were doing nuclear experiments like 7 to 8 weeks before that happened in that general area, and you don't hear much about that. Well, you heard more about the North Koreans than us doing it, but it's a fact.
Do you remember the back in springtime, there was the Stanford professor who wanted people to join in to go out to Mars, and
I
that
remember that.
and that they
I don't
could
remember.
they were not guaranteed that they'd have a way back, but they could go.
Wow.
And I wanted to. I know about it
wanna
because I
go,
wanted
huh?
to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I've done what I could do here. No, I'm playing. But you know, I just was like, it was a really cool idea, and then maybe too many people wanted to do it, and then I don't know what happened, but it just poof. I
Yeah.
don't know what happened to the idea, but I thought it was really cool that people might want to just
Well, they say that
find out.
they did this test on Arcadian rhythms with putting people in water, and they put representations of the four races of people on Earth and water, and the American Indians' Arcadian rhythms synced up with Mars, and I think the black people's rhythms synced up with the Earth, and then forget about the Chinese, but the white people's didn't sync up with anything they knew of, almost like we're the alien hybrids who were brought here at some point or something.
Mm-hmm.
But the American Indians' Arcadian rhythms in that test synced up with the ones of Mars, so I thought that's interesting. The
You
red
believe
planet and
that
so
we're
forth.
originally primates?
Well, I think it's not that cut and dried, and it's kind of funny too how people took Darwin's ideology and kind of did what like Hitler did to Nietzsche, like swinging it over for their own particular agenda and stuff. Because Darwin wasn't even sure, and
He's
there
not
could
the
be a
only
missing
one.
link.
I mean, since
Yeah, no,
there's a whole lot
yeah.
of scientists
He was
who
just
backed
like
up
the real
evolutionary
popular
theory.
guy. Yeah.
I mean, that is thoroughly proven scientifically.
Well, look
Evolution.
at the Ebola
Well,
virus.
they still think there
is-
could be some other, missing links possibly. I mean, it's.
Well, I haven't solved every question, but
Right.
Evolution is definitely real.
Well, like you take the pictures of the horses going from small to large and up to like the late 60s, they thought, well, that was the progression of the
they
horse.
Didn't get every link right.
But there was
the
one
fact is
species
there
of the
was
horse.
Evolution.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. But they used to, every tooth they found or big bone, they referred to as a dragon's jaw or dragon's tooth when it was really a saber-toothed tiger or, something. And that lasted up till the early 1900s,
Oh, yeah. Well,
so.
science is always advancing.
Right.
We're always discovering new things and discovered that some things that we thought were true weren't quite accurate. And
Right,
That always
right,
happens. But,
Right.
yeah.
No, totally. Yeah.
Well,
In closing, though, I just wanted to say I think we're leaving the information age and we're entering the intuitive age. And we're going to go from up here and a lot of the screens and gadgets to more down here where you actually have nerve receptors in your gut, hence the term the gut feeling or whatever, the same you have up in your brain. And a lot of stuff you feel here actually happens in the near future. You don't get that feeling for nothing.
okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever, both of you, felt a spirit or a being try to enter your body or affect your body?
Yeah, I have, but like when our friend Randy passed from the Sword and Rose last year, right at the time, so I felt I was actually doing lighting a candle for him because he's in the hospital, and I felt a hand on my arm and my hair stand up, and I actually knew it was him at that time, and I was like, oh no, I hope you're just on a long astral journey and you haven't left your body, but yeah, stuff like that, but never weird, negative, poltergeist Hollywood type things, but more like that. I have felt, I would say yes, I have stuff more like that. How about yourself? You're a Pisces, one of probably the most psychic sign of the zodiac. They always give it to the Scorpio. I think it's the Pisces. So you have the natural aptitude actually to have those experiences. No? Okay. Still waiting. No.
It depends on what house it's in.
No, I know.
You
It
and
goes
have
more
to
than the...
discuss our astrological studies because,
Yeah.
I'm a Vedic astrologer
Which
and you're
the-
Western astrologer.
Well, no, I do the Vedic. Vedic has a lot of the extra sign, right? A lot of times it's not just 12 signs.
Well, they're Rahu and Ketu, the north and the south nodes, are actually gods.
Yep.
And it's a different system. Doesn't include Uranus, Neptune, or Pluto because those were not discovered at the time of the Vedas. So you count the Vedic system is where the stars are now.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, we should talk about it because I'm wearing my green bindi today because Wednesday is the day of Mercury.
Right.
And-
Raphael's Day.
Okay. All right.
Green's one of the colors that goes to Raphael, and also it's interchangeable with Michael, like the archangel's role days and the colors, the emanations of that day. And Wednesday and Mercury usually is a yellow-orange, but green actually goes to Raphael too, so you're right in sync with both.
Well, in
Both things.
Vedic, if you have like a Mercury problem, they'll, sometimes they'll recommend an emerald to wear.
Okay.
And
Like trouble communicating or something.
or, as in my case, having Mercury in the 12th house.
In Pisces.
It doesn't have to be in Pisces.
Oh, right, under that system, right.
Yeah, it means that Mercury, the god, is in the 12th house, which is the house of spirits and otherworldly communication. So, yeah, last January, and we can end it soon because I don't want to scare people, but
Because I think Richard's getting hungry.
yeah. Okay, one more thing. Okay, last January, in my house, and you've been in my room.
Yeah, with your lovely Mancoon cat.
He died on Day of the Dead.
Oh, boy.
Okay, it's all. But
No.
anyway, in 2013. Yeah,
What an
he got-
auspicious spiritual time to pass.
No, I haven't gotten another cat.
Yeah.
I don't. But on January of 2014, I was doing some paperwork, kind of just doing this kind of thing and ripping and la la la, and sitting on the side of my bed. It was a Sunday, and then sort of like in my body in a sort of unusual way, and then all of a sudden I felt something. I didn't see it. It came here, pushed me like that, and then like that, and then went off in like white. And
Was that your aunt? Because you were telling
no,
me. Okay.
It was not my aunt.
Okay.
And there's more to it, but you're hungry, so I'll tell you later. But no, there's way more to it.
Okay, yeah. Let's definitely get together and stuff. And
Yeah, there's way more to it.
Okay.
All right. To just cut it real short is that my friend who is a Wicca person and a curandero told me, oh yeah, it's your aunt. So you gotta put, crystals out with some water, and you gotta light a candle, etc., etc. So I light my candle, I'm all set, and from my, I have all sorts of like sculptures and stuff of the gods and stuff, and the candle started going up like a Roman candle, and almost burnt my room down. My shawl was there, and the whole thing started to catch fire, so I threw it off. Krishna and Radha went like boom off the thing into the crystals, broke the bowl, which was made in Palestine, in half, and I was like,
Wow.
okay.
Wow.
But
Wow.
I was lucky that it didn't, the whole house didn't catch on fire.
Yeah.
But it broke my bowl, which it was a bowl that was important to me.
Right.
And no, it was the spirit saying, or the being saying, no,
Yeah.
I'm not your aunt.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't my aunt.
Yeah.
If from my aunt. That would have been like a loving feeling. No. It was something else. It was like a push. Like, who do you think you are? And I went to Psychic Horizons and had a couple people look at it. And the second reader I felt was spot on and said it's a karmic family being.
Wow. Okay.
Telling you that the School of Hard Knocks is how you're supposed to live this lifetime. You can't live it as a free,
Wow.
kind of person.
Wow.
And
Wow.
So
Wow.
guess what?
quite
I'm
some
gonna have a new
story.
show too.
Okay.
And I'll cut it there. So should we all say goodbye?
Sure.
Thank you, Richard. You look like you're really tired. Are you okay?
I am. I slept 2
This
hours
man only
last
had, I was
night.
going to say, 2 hours
Oh,
of
you
sleep.
had fun last night? Was it
Yeah.
fun?
Well,
Oh.
I had fun last night, and then I had to get up early to go to work this morning.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You had to pay the piper.
Yeah.
But,
Thank you for being on my show.
Yeah. It was fun. Thanks.
We did a post show.
Uh huh.
So we have something to put on Google Plus. I'm planning to get off of Facebook
Uh huh.
and just hit with Google Plus.
In my VHS
The only
tape,
problem with that is no one else is on it.
Well, they will be.
the VHS tape at home kept running and recording this show as well. So I'm sure it's still running.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
yeah.
Okay, blessed be.
Well, then you can get a recording
Yes.
of the earlier.